Aloha family and friends, Scott Sommer here, holistic healer. So this video is based on the Ultimate Detox and Weight Loss Program, and it's called The Window of Eating. Many times when I talk about this topic, people get scared. And so don't get scared and don't worry, because we're not going to take everything away from you, but we're just going to teach you when to eat and when not to eat. So maybe you've heard about the term intermittent fasting. So I'm going to teach you something about some principles about how to burn more fat in less time. I mean, like, who doesn't want to be efficient, right? I mean, do you want to lose weight over a couple years of time? Like, say, for instance, you want to lose, 20 pounds. Do you want that to take 2 years? Or would you rather to take more like 30 days? Well, I'm going to teach you the fast method, and I'm going to see where you are right now. So first of all, how many meals a day do you eat? Well, the average American was taught through TV commercials and through the pyramid of food pyramid through the FDA that was established back in the 70s, if you can imagine. So it's like old information. And it was really driven by a different cereal industry, the grain industry, the dairy industry. I mean, when do you think the food industry wants you to eat? All the time. I mean, they really recommend, ultimately, if you listen to their examples of when they want you to eat as a consumer, they would have you eat breakfast with a snack. They would have you eat lunch with a good snack after lunch, after a couple hours, and then, of course, dinner, and then you must eat a snack before bed because everybody needs a snack, a little bowl of ice cream, right? Well, what would happen to you if you ate all of those snacks and 3 meals a day, large quantities? What do you think? Well, exactly what's happened to America. That's the perfect recipe for a sumo wrestler in Japan, because they feed them all day long, they don't exercise, and they achieve their goal of obesity, basically, as a sumo wrestler. So if you don't want to be a sumo wrestler, then we have to kind of treat your meals kind of like bookends. So let me explain. So the way I explain it is sort of, for instance, if your meals are like books, and you have several books that you eat every single time of the hour of the day, and one bookend is when you wake up in the day, the middle of the day, called breakfast, and the last meal is, say, your snack, then what we need to do is really kind of condense either one end of the bookend, which is skipping breakfast, or some people say, please don't take breakfast away from me. So if that's the case, then we move the other bookend, which is dinner. So we eat dinner earlier in the evening, or even maybe shave dinner off and make it a later lunch, like a brunch. So these are the options. The first step to losing weight, the fastest way, called intermittent fasting, is to shave off 1 meal on the early part of the day, called breakfast, and eating lunch, say at 12 o'clock or even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then all of a sudden your window of eating becomes 12 to 5 or 12 to 6 or maybe 12 to 7 because you have some social events such as your family. Maybe you prepare, maybe you're a mother or a wife and you need to sit down with your family to eat a meal. So what I would suggest is decide, first of all, what is practical for you and what works best for you in your life. So decide that first. Then the second thing you decide is, once you've decided whether or not breakfast is to be skipped, then start out slowly. Like maybe you start eating breakfast at 10 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock in the morning when you first get up. Then finally eat at 11 o'clock, and then finally eat lunch, and then that means you finally skip breakfast completely. So, and then next step, like climbing a ladder of health, is what I call it, which is called setting goals for weight loss. If you're eating 3 meals a day, then just start with chopping off 1 meal. And then the next level up the ladder of health would be to skip off 2 meals. So the best way that I have found to do that would be to only eat a really nice lunch in the middle of the day. And that's pretty much what I do. Sometimes I fast for throughout the day where I'm eating like bone broth or some other type of vegetable, that like green drinks. Like I do that on a Saturday. That would be another option to burn more fat and lose weight faster. But typically, once people get to 1 meal a day, you can really maintain that for a long period of time and make sure your meal counts. So I would suggest getting a really good salad in the middle of the day. Make sure you put lots of protein, lots of nuts, lots of good oils, and lots of plant-based protein with large varieties of color. Eating the rainbow is what I call it. And making sure if you want to do meat that you eat organic, free-range chicken or beef or whatever works for you, or even fish as a pescatarian. But if you are more of a vegetarian or a vegan, make sure that you consume enough fat, because that's the other part of the equation, is plants and fat-based protein. Okay? Hemp seeds are really great on the salad. We're going to talk about some snacks and foods that work really well in this program in a later video. But for now, I want you to start thinking with one meal a day is where I want the goal to be. Now, how long should this take to get there? You know, it might take you, honestly, even if it takes you a month to get to whittle down to one meal. That's what I really worked on over about, 3 weeks. It took me 3 weeks to a month. It might take you a couple months. Don't worry, don't rush it. I want you to feel comfortable. You should really keep moving towards that one meal to where your appetite is under control, you're not ravenous, and you're really burning fat at that point because you're not reaching for sugar anymore. You don't want a bowl of pasta, you don't want a candy bar, and you're not eating too much fruit. And that's when you know you're burning fat for life. So lastly, the highest level is really where people do at least a 2-day fast. And it really takes 3 days of fasting where you do bone broth and some of the snacks I'm going to talk to you about in the next video. And when you start achieving that goal, then you really start burning fat. You see inches, melting off of your waist. You feel the tone of your body. You're burning muscle, burning fat and not burning muscle, which is some of the myths that are included in my previous seminar notes and videos. So remember that your body will burn fat as long as you work out continually each and every day and follow these suggestions of eating enough fat each and every day, and making sure you finally whittle your program down, the window of eating down to at least one big salad in the middle of the day. You can do juicing say for breakfast, or lemon juice. Dinner can be as simple as some soup if you need it, including bone broth, which is full of protein, but very little calories and no carbohydrates. Remember, we want to keep insulin under control. As long as insulin is in the cage, then there is no fat storage, only fat burning properties happening in your body. So for now, I look forward to seeing you at the next video.